Now let's say, hypothetically, if I were to put anime and pirates together in the same sentence, what would you think of?
Ooh, yippee! I can't wait to go on a fun adventure with my nakama! We're going to sail the seas! Bro, get that shit out my face! Fuck is you doing? Y'all out here with your anime about fantasy pirates? Trash! I'm out here with my anime about Somalian pirates, baby! Whoa!
Look at me, sure. Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
I still love you though, One Piece. I'm sorry. It takes a lot for me to call an anime badass. There are most definitely some good ones out there, but a lot of the time they ring a little Yamete Oni-chan for me to like fully gel with them, you know? But Black Lagoon, trust me, that shit is badass. It's a gun-toting, chain-smoking, blood-pumping, ass out the real ride, and it's a blast every step of the way. The show is set in the greatest fantasy anime setting of all time, Thailand, in the fictional town of Roanapur. You know a setting's gonna be bugging when they call it shit like
Roanapur, the city of immortality.
Frame 1, and Roanapur does not disappoint. It's a cesspit of sex, crime, and violence where the worst dregs of society come out to play. Hell, even the architecture goes hard. There's a Buddha statue abandoned to time on one end of town, and a noose hanging from a bridge on the other. Shit is cool as fuck, and the people inhabiting it are just as wild. We got chainsaw murderers, killer maids, Japanese Osama, literal Nazis, Show Tucker, and an entire mafia of ex-Soviet soldiers, led by the imposing, badass, and honestly just kind of bad normally, Captain Balalaika. Hell, even the churches in this town stay strapped. Shit is insanity. Despite this though, everything still feels really grounded. Roanapur might be a cesspit where everyone shoots people, sells drugs, and says the fuck word, but it and everyone in it still functions on its own internal logic, and that makes it OD immersive. Black Lagoon makes sure that you know that no matter how much screen time they get, everyone in Roanapur is a small part of the city out for themselves. They all have their own likes, wants, fears, and they're all ready to pull out the gat or snake somebody at a moment's notice if it means they get a little more paper. And the main cast, the Lagoon Company itself, are just one tiny faction among the countless. They're the same, they're just trying to get their bag.
We're nothing more than delivery boys. Sometimes we'll break the rules to put food on the table, but that's business.
You know, when you boil it down, the main cast of Black Lagoon are basically just the world's coolest delivery men. All they really do is move shit from point A to point B. The only difference is what they're moving is highly illegal and leads to shit like this.
Jesus!
Like, FedEx could never. Low-key, the Lagoon Company are just a weird bunch. Before our main character shows up, it consists of the leader Dutch, a mysterious smuggler with an inexplicably high sway with the city's mafias. Also, he's the best written black man in anime since fucking Piccolo, and I'll fight you over that. Benny, the shockingly chill tech guy, whose vibes didn't really make sense to me until I realized he was from Florida, so Roanapur's basically an upgrade. And then there's Revy, the ship's muscle. She is a badass, twin Glock toting, booty short wearing, mass murdering, money hungry psychopath, and also my wife. Together, they all risk their lives day in and day out on their quests to loot, pillage, and smuggle their way into the bag, and they do it with a smile. And that freedom really drew the main character of the series, Rakuro Okajima, to them. Well, that and the guns they were pointing at him, but still, you know the vibes. Rakuro started out the series working at one of those really shitty Japanese companies. Like, the type with the nets out front to catch you when you jump. They care about Rakuro so little that they plan to use him as a gopher to carry nuclear weapon plans. And when that obviously went awry, courtesy of a hijacking from the Lagoon Company who were hired to retrieve the plans, the company just... It is what it is. It is what it is. And faked his death without even telling him. Better to lose an employee than fuck up a couple cents off the quarter, right? Shit is fucked up. So fucked up, in fact, that the literal pirates who started off the series kidnapping bro for ransom go, "Goddamn, Rock, that's tough. You wanna hang out with us instead?" And they just fucking go and take him out for drinks. And they treat him better than his old company ever did. Rock, midway through an existential crisis over the fact that he spent his entire life in the first 20 minutes of Office Space,
Hello, Peter. What's happening?
understandably gets tight and resolves to move on to the rest of the movie. Only instead of beating the shit out of a printer and using tech to steal money from his company, Rock joins the Lagoon Company, where he steals normally and beats the shit out of people. This on its own is low-key a crazy tight premise. We've all had those moments where we get sick of the bullshit at our work or school or whatever, and we just want to say fuck it, we ball, go sicko mode. But the way Black Lagoon executes on this premise just pushes it to the next level. Because we can all relate to Rock living out our dreams, and it gives the story some banger relatability, but Black Lagoon doesn't go too hard on that. Bro still has enough of his own personality to keep that he just like me for real vibe from becoming in another world with my smartphone guy vibe. See, unlike in most anime where Rock would just post up and the Lagoon Company would go, "Kiya, you're so strong and kawaii, des, please be our leader." Nah, instead he just slots pretty well into the Lagoon Company as it is. He stays himself, he keeps rocking his used cars salesman fit, he does the group's taxes, and he hates actually committing violence himself. But that, plus his planning and smooth-talking ability, just makes him fit even better as the crew's diplomat. He does all the white-collar shit that keeps the Lagoon Company an actual company, and that frees up the rest of them to go out and wreak havoc. It's a good system. And he ends up pretty good at it, too. Unfortunately, the things that make him such a good addition to the crew also put him right in the crosshairs of Revy, the woman who kidnapped his ass in the first place. And it's their relationship the show really focuses around. Revy, despite originally advocating for him to join the crew, still sees Rock as an outsider. She sees him as just some cushy, white-collar pussy who should stop patronizing the real pirates and go back to where he came from. And she's got the type of tragic backstory that I don't know if I'm allowed to say on this site, but I'll just say it involves the NYPD, and whatever the worst thing your brain goes to when I say the NYPD is probably right. Girl has been through the ringer. And all of this has left her as the power-hungry lunatic we know and simp for today, but it's also left her with a massive chip on her shoulder. She shits on Rock non-stop for trying to join her world, but keep in mind, Rock joined the Lagoon Company specifically because he was sick as fuck of kowtowing to his superiors and kissing ass. So he isn't having any of her bullshit and fights her on it, which then gets her upset and makes her do it more, and oh, what a tangled web we weave, isn't it? Honestly though, their rivalry turned friendship is one of the best written things in anime history. It gets to the point near the end of the anime where Rock is out here drawing up light Yagami plans, crazy schemes and shit, and then just sicking Revy on the ops and making his plan come true. It is a blast to watch every time, it's crazy. My only issue, though, is that it has been like 20 years since the anime has been made, and their romance still hasn't been made official. Please, Ray Hiraway, let them smash. Please! Black Lagoon is badass, for sure. It's an absolutely sick, violent romp through the lives of society's worst. But it's also a lot more than that. The cast of Black Lagoon are some of the most complex and entertaining psychopaths anime has ever seen. Low-key, in most anime, I spend about 90% of the time they're not fighting, contemplating blowing my brains out. But Roanoper and the people living in it are so interesting and cool that it's just as fun to watch them talk shit and shoot drinks as it is to watch them blow people's heads off. And that's high praise, trust and believe. Hell, my favorite episode of the entire series, episode 7, Calm Down Two Men, is spent entirely on Rock and Revy driving around town doing errands and arguing. And somebody's a real badass if they're still cool while they're helping the homie edit porn.
Hold on a sec. Is she taking it up the ass?
Sure is.
The fact that this show is real boggles my mind. Black Lagoon is genuinely incredible. It's one of those shows that has a lot going on beneath the surface, but it doesn't take itself seriously enough to be pretentious. If this show was a person and you went up to it and said, "Wow, so Kino," it would stab you in the face. But still, it's one of the only shows, especially when it comes to anime, that can be fun and revel in the chaos it creates with all its guns and swearing and ass, but then turn around and have a genuine philosophical discussion and not have it feel jarring or weird. It does have some moments that can be a little too OD for some people, which I get, but I feel like it's part of its charm. It feels like one of those shows where if you like anime, or hell, if you even like any badass shit, that you have to check out at least once and get some of that pirate grime into your life. TLDR, Rox says this in like episode 2, and it is one of the hardest lines of all time in any show, and I will be sampling it in as many beats as I can.
It's times like this that bring out the savage in me.